channel. This is going to be part 2 of the Fall River cult murders. So part 1, we basically just went into the 3 brutal murders that happened here in Fall River, Massachusetts that were related to a cult that had been started by Carl Drew, who was a pimp. So we talked all about that. So if you haven't watched part 1, go back and watch it because you won't understand what this one is about. So do you want to tell them the cool?
All right, guys, this is really cool. We actually got an interview coming up for you guys on part 2 with the lead detective on the case, Alan Sylvia. So that was quite a coup for this video.
That was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta see this, guys.
Yeah, he's just had a lot of insight. You know, he spent 3 years of his life working on that case, and he knows it inside and out. So it was great that he did that for us. That was really nice of him. So we're gonna show you guys. Sue and I went and visited all of the crime scenes. We spoke with all of the girls, right? I think all 3.
Yeah, they actually came through when we called out to them. I mean, I'm sure they're not always at those locations, but we called out to them and they actually came through and responded.
They did. So what I did was I isolated them all on the spirit box, but I had to went through so many channels to get it into the isolation. It kind of lost a little bit of the sound. But the spirit box is very hard to hear anyway because I don't know exactly how they're able to come through. But it's really fast and sometimes it'll sound almost like off in the distance, but we know what we heard. So I want you guys to listen really closely. I mean, you might have to listen a couple of times to each of the clips and then let us know in the comments as well if you think you heard what we heard.
Yeah.
So just so you know, I mean, we're putting it out there. It is what it is. You can make what you want of it, but we know that we spoke with the girls.
Yeah, I wish we had like more time to do that sort of thing.
I know. It would have been nice, but YouTube doesn't allow us that much time. It would have been 3 hours.
We actually could have probably did a 4 or 5 part series on this.
Right.
Very interesting. I mean, and the more people we talk to, we're learning there's even more people we could have possibly interviewed for this.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing story. So, all right, you ready?
So what are we going to do now, Deb?
Let's take them there.
Oh.
Show the interview. Let's show them the interview first, and then what do you think, guys? The interview first, and then we'll take you guys out to the crime scenes.
Sound good? All right.
All right.
Well,
let's do
this. All right.
Well, thank you so much for meeting with us today. This means a lot to us. I just have a few questions. So you were the lead detective on the case.
I was one of the detectives. There were about 2 or 3 that really were involved in the day-to-day operations of the investigation. And of course we had a number of other investigators involved in the city, criminalistics, and state police were involved. They had a crew assigned as well. But I was there in the day in, day out for 3 years of the investigation.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, Sue and I, one of the things that we found interesting was that you and your partner had attended some of the cult meetings that they had. Now, you weren't undercover though, right?
No, they knew we were there. They knew their attitude was they'd rather have us around thinking that they could gain information from us.
Right.
And we knew that that's where everybody was. It was down at Harbor Terrace at the time.
That's Sonny's apartment, right?
No longer, it's Sonny's apartment.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't dare throw us out, so we eventually became regular visitors. You know, we would bring them beer, marijuana, whatever they wanted. And that issue came up during the trial. That we were bringing them alcohol or cannabis. We weren't investigating drugs. We were investigating homicides.
Right.
So we weren't so concerned with those issues.
Right.
And as a result of that, we were able to get a lot of information.
Now, what did they do with those meetings, just out of curiosity?
There were maybe 2 meetings, gatherings. They were never organized meetings, but gatherings where someone either called upon Satan or hailed Satan in Sonny's apartment.
Yeah.
There were some depictions of Satan on the wall in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And when someone would do that, there would be a lot of silence, keeping in mind that these people who were involved had no organized satanic cult. This was something self-designed to keep prostitutes and other people in line and in fear.
Right, right.
So it was not unorganized with Book of Shadows or
Right,
Anton
right.
LaVey
It was-
type of Satanism. I studied that later.
Okay.
So it was not organized. It was
Right.
self-designed to
Right,
place people in fear and control.
right. Now, people used to say, I don't think it's true, but that Carl Drew would speak in tongues. Did you ever hear him do that?
Never.
No. Okay, I don't think
That's
so.
false.
Now, my next question, so,
The only I will say this is on one of those occasions when Robin Murphy was in the bedroom with Karen, she did speak in a voice that wasn't recognized to any of us, any of the detectives. It was an unusual voice. A different sound came from her.
oh, I remember that story, and you said the hair stood up on your arms.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. So Carl Drew has always said he's innocent.
Right.
What do you think?
Well, it was odd to me that Detective Sergeant Paul Kerry, who worked with me every day on these cases, did a turnaround. He saw all the evidence that I saw. He collected hair samples from Carl. We attended the trials together. We had a change of venue out in Western Massachusetts where we lived for a few weeks. And never was it ever discussed or even thought of that Carl Drew was innocent.
Right.
But somehow, as the years passed, Paul Kerry, Sergeant Kerry, would visit Carl in jail and came to the belief that Carl Drew was innocent. And we had some brief conversations. Of course, I disagreed totally with that. Carl Drew has appealed, exhausted his appeals. I attended those appeals. I testified. And the judge determined that there was no evidence to move in either reducing his sentence or having it forfeited, having been
Right.
taken out of jail. So he remains in jail now for the rest of his life.
Right.
There's no doubt in my mind that Carl Drew committed
Yeah.
at least one of those murders.
Was he trying to pin it on Robin Murphy?
Robin testified to that when she testified against Carl Drew, that he was trying to do that to her. The district attorney at the time, Ron Pina, needed Robin as a witness against Carl Drew, so that Robin could get a reduced sentence. Robin should be doing a first-degree murder herself. However, she still remains in jail because she's violated her parole twice. Thankfully.
Yeah, because she recanted her testimony and said
Yeah.
that she made it all up,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me. I'm curious, Andy Maltese, what was he like? I know he was nuts.
Strangest guy you'd ever want to meet.
Really?
You know Fall River, so even going back into the late '80s,
Yeah.
when we picked Andy Maltese up at, I don't know, midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, the first time I ever met him, he came in wearing, jeans and a cowboy shirt with pill buttons. Who wears that in Fall River? and a belt buckle that said Texas on it and cowboy boots. So he was a strange character. He was carrying a Bible when he walked in. And we had lots of conversations about, him being with Satan and now being with God. Of course, he was present when Robin killed Barbara Raposa.
Oh, he was? I didn't know that.
He was driving the car.
Oh, I
So
didn't know
Robin
that.
went in the back seat to do her lovemaking.
Oh, Barbara, yeah.
with
I thought you were
Barbara.
talking about Doreen, I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah. No, I knew that he was there for that, yeah. Yep,
But he was a strange character.
yeah.
He was the one who hovered in his dream,
That's
closed his
psychic
eyes with
dream.
me and said, I said, where are you now, Andy? I can see the tree over near Jefferson Street. I can take you to it. I can see it in my dream. So, he placed himself at the scene. Andy, of course, ended up at Bridgewater due to his mental health issues, rightly so, and eventually stroked and died in jail.
I loved how you played psychic medium yourself during
I
your
did,
interrogation.
I sort of enjoyed that.
It was awesome.
I don't do that anymore.
No, we can use your at Lizzie's.
Although I got a lot of practice to do the work I do now with
Right,
the legislature, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we'll call you up to come to by Lizzie's one night.
Yeah, for sure. So Carol Fletcher got off, and so did Willie. How did they, like, not get any charges? I couldn't find...
You know, Willie, you know, his involvement was more at the pier, knowing what was going on, knowing the connection with Carol Fletcher, with Robin. You know, he played very little role in the homicides, although Karen had placed him at the scene of Doreen's homicide at Diamond.
Yeah.
But Willie got off with just his testimony. Carol Fletcher, we had to do a name change on Carol. She was taken out to West Coast so she could live for her testimony. All of those deals were made by Ron Pina, who, in my opinion, was probably the worst district attorney we've ever had in Bristol County.
Wasn't he married to that
Sheila
Sheila
Martinez.
Martinez, and there was a big thing about a kidnapping
He
or
recently
something, yeah.
passed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, what
But
was...
Carol, just so you know this,
Yeah.
Carol was the one who set up the meeting with Karen Marsden. Karen Marsden was told never to speak to me
Right.
or any of us.
Right.
But Carol was the one who set up the meeting on County Street for me to meet Karen Marsden. And matter of fact, when Karen came through the door, she screamed seeing me.
Oh, my God.
She knew that she was being set up to speak with me, and she did speak with me
Yeah.
for a few hours, and then her biggest fear, of course, was they were going to kill her son.
Right.
And we offered to have her placed in protective custody. I called the chief. Then it was Chief Andrade, who was dead, who since died of cancer. He told me to put her in a hotel in Dartmouth. She refused to go. I brought her to St. Mary's Cathedral. I saw her knock on the door and speak to the priest. I left. 3 o'clock that morning, maybe 4 hours or 3 hours after I dropped her off, they killed her in Westport.
Wow.
So
So this,
So Carol set that up. After Carol set that up, she went back to Robin to tell Robin she had been talking to me.
wow.
Wow.
How awful.
So that's why they had to move Carol. So they gave her a new name and then moved her out of town.
Right.
And but that's what's going on.
Wow.
This is a love triangle with Carol and Robin and Karen.
Yeah.
So this must have been one of the most incredible cases of your career.
It was the most incredible case of my career. And there is never a week since then that someone doesn't approach me, email me, or talk to me about this case.
Wow.
From California to Europe, I get, we've done a couple of documentaries, done a few things.
Yeah.
I like to eventually maybe somehow do a book with another author to, there's so many things have happened since.
Right.
Oh, I wish you
And,
would. Yeah.
Put my own spin to some of the things that took place.
Right. That would be amazing. Yeah, that must have been horrible for you. I can't even imagine how you...
I didn't realize the effect that it had on me. It was just all I did for 3 years. So, but it had a major effect on my life. I divorced during that time. So a lot of things happened to me during that time.
Wow.
So what stands out to you the most in the case? Like, what was the most horrific? I mean, the whole thing was horrific.
The whole thing was horrific.
Special about...
You know, it's never ended. You know, I mean, people have been incarcerated. All of those people those 3 homicides, those lives are gone. But it still never ended. You know, with the appeals, with the Robin and her attempts for parole. I testified against her being released a year and a half or 2 years ago.
2017, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then she, of course, remains in Framingham. So it just never ends. There's always, it still continues today.
Right.
Mhm.
But it was all horrific.
Yeah.
It was all,
The whole
you know,
thing.
you could never, to see how it unfolded, one homicide connected to another homicide to another homicide,
Yeah.
you know, all to, and not even done in a way to protect someone. You could understand the criminal mind if it was they had to kill someone to protect Robin or kill someone to protect Carl, but that wasn't the case.
Right, exactly.
You know, it was,
Not even in Karen Marsden's
in
case?
Karen Marsden, it was just a penalty for speaking with the police, speaking with me. It was Karen Marsden was the weak link, and they knew she was. Karen Marsden was never right. After stoning of Doreen, Karen Marsden, she was lucid all the time. You look at her eyes, she was never any eye contact, always in a state of fear.
So you don't think she might have been killed to protect Carl Drew?
I think they saw her as a weak link. But eventually the weakest link was Robin, who testified against Carl Drew. So they all turned on each other.
Yeah, which usually happens. Did you have any more questions for him, Deb?
Well, Sue was wondering, remember the Mary Lou Aruda case? I know they found someone in that case, a suspect, or I guess he was arrested, but do you think that was somehow related to those?
No.
Okay. Not at all.
Not at all. Yeah, I have very little involvement with the highway murders or Mary Lou Aruda, but these people had nothing to do with that.
Now, my other question, do you think that they spoke of how that they had sacrificed other people in the Freetown State Forest.
I don't believe it.
You don't think they did?
No.
There were other victims?
Back then I traveled through the forest and we found some makeshift altars, some satanic sign, the pentagram, those kinds of things, in stone. They may have, or others, but the only person who actually put Carl Drew there at the Freetown State Forest was Karen Marsden. And because of her conversation she had with Drew, him telling her, this is where we take people, the green water, if you remember that.
Yes, I remember
we put
that.
them in the green water.
The acid and the battery acid in your veins, yeah.
But never did we ever actually place them in the investigation in the Freetown State Forest.
Okay. All right, well,
Good.
I appreciate your time. Thank you
You're very
so
welcome.
much.
Thank
This
you.
really meant a lot
Write
to
that
us.
book. I would love to
Yeah.
read it.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that, the different twists to some of the things. We spent a lot of time months with Henry Scammell, the author of Mortal Remains. I'm glad he wrote the book because we could at least record what took place. But a lot of things have changed. A lot of things happened since then that really add to the whole dimension of what took place.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much.
But let me give you my card and you can...
So these are the bleachers where the first body of Doreen Levette was found at Diamond Regional High School in Fall River, Mass.
She was found underneath the bleachers. 2 sets. Not sure if it was this set or the ones over there.
Okay, we're gonna do a little spirit box session here. Doreen Levette.
I'm going to get closer so we can actually hear the spirit box. Okay, guys?
Are you here? Do you wish to speak to us? We're sorry for what happened to you here. I hope we're not disturbing you by talking. Do you have a message?
We don't mean you any ill harm. We just wanted to get your voice on the video and your point of view.
Is this you, Doreen? I don't know if you heard that, guys. We just got a low speaking woman's voice.
So you're going to hear Doreen say, "It's me. Very hard to hear because of the wind and the flagpole, and she's very off in the distance, but she's there.
Is this you, Doreen? Did you know Carl Drew, Robin Murphy? Did you work for Carl Drew?
You did work for him. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know that. Yep, I hear you, Doreen. So when we were asking Doreen if she knew Carl Drew, this is what we got. He killed. Again, very fast, very hard to hear because of the wind. So you're probably going to want to listen a couple of times. So we're at the spot where Barbara Raposa's body was found behind the old RS printing company in Fall River. As you can see, it's very secluded back here. That company is no longer here. So we're going to do some EVP and some more spirit box, just to cover all the bases. What is that? I guess it's a dumping ground all around. So we're still at Barbara Raposa's area where her body was found. Barbara, are you around at all? We wanted to speak with you. Sorry about what happened to you. We're actually doing a story on it. And we wanted to get some of your input for the story. I'm Dab Sue.
Hi. We're reaching out to Barbara Raposa. We know it was Andy Maltese that killed you.
He died in prison, thinking he was an agent for the police.
Do you have anything you want to say to us?
We're in the car, guys, because it's very windy out today. We're not here to harm you. We just want to speak with you.
We don't mean to draw you back here. Hi.
Hi.
Is this Barbara? End session.
So this is where Barbara comes through and clearly says hi. We had been asking for her specifically. We were at her murder site.
Do you have a message?
So on this one, we had asked if we were speaking with Barbara, if she had a message, and we clearly can hear, "Yup, hi mother." At first we thought it might have been Andy Maltese because we had asked for him. But the more I listened, I think it's a female voice. You guys can let me know what you think. So hey guys, we're we're here at the spot where what was left of Karen Marsden was found. They found her skull over on the corner, and in these woods they actually found her clothes and one of her shoes. So we're gonna try to communicate with her and do a little spirit box session. As you know, this murder was actually the most brutal one out of the 3 that we talked about. So we're gonna, yeah, it is really secluded back here. You could see why they picked the spot as well. One of the other clues they gave us was the stone wall, because Robin had talked about during the murder that there were 2 other people present, and that Drew had told them to throw a rock at Karen's head, and they each picked up a rock, but I believe it was probably rocks from the stone wall that we used to stone her to death as well.
Yeah, the coroner even verified that.
Yes. Yep. So this was, actually we believe that this was the spot, so we're going to try to communicate with her.
All right. We'll see if she has a message.
Yep. Alright guys, so we get the spirit box on. I also set up the REM pod. I want to see if Karen will come through, and if we get any activity if the REM pod goes off. I'm also voice recording. So we're trying to reach Karen Marsden. Hi Karen, are you here? Would you like to speak with us? I'm Deb. This is Sue. And Cindy.
Hi. We're trying to call in Karen Marsden.
Is that you, Karen? If it's you, can you just say hi? We're doing a story about your murder. We know who it was that murdered you. We're trying to give you a voice.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything that you would like to say? So I was telling Karen that we were doing a story and we knew who killed her, and you're going to hear her say Robin.
Karen Marsden? Is that you, Karen? If it's you, can you just say hi? We're doing a story about your murder. We know who it was that murdered you. We're trying to give you a voice.
Can we get the spirit?
While it's going on live.
Alright.
Guys, sometimes you can't understand it while it's going on live.
Are you still watching over JJ?
You help him.
So I asked Karen if she was still watching over JJ, and she said, yep.
Are you still watching over JJ? You help him?
Alright guys, so we get the spirit box on. I also set up the REM pod. I want to see. I'm sure JJ's doing well. Have you seen him?
Are you at peace?
Is there anything that you would like to tell us, Karen?
Karen, was Robin the ringleader or was it Carl? Him? They're both in jail.
Karen, I hate to ask you this question, but I'm wondering, they never found your body. Do you know what they did with your... Do you know what they did with your body? Robin said they burned your body.
We're so sorry.
I'm sorry you had to leave, JJ. You have Grandma.
Do you need our help with anything?
Something I help.
Do you want our help?
So Sue was asking Karen if she could use our help, and you here need help.
Do you need our help with anything?
So that was a wild time, visiting all the girls and hearing from them. I knew that Karen's site was going to be really intense, but I wasn't expecting that much energy in that spot. Do you want to give them your experience when we were there?
Well, you know, I got there, and when I got out of the car and we started, you know, walking around talking about it, calling her in, I was just kind of like overwhelmed. I mean, I started to feel dizzy and nauseous. I could just feel the energy in the air. And for me, that death was actually one of the worst ones that we delved into. I mean, that's going to stay with me a little while, actually.
That was
but
the worst one.
I mean, and the man came through at that site as well. But yeah, it was pretty intense, guys.
I was scared because I never see Sue like that. I was like, shit, if Sue's like that, something's really off. I mean, I wasn't that bad. I just kind of felt like just out of it and really, really sad, and it just affected us. You know?
You wouldn't think that an open outdoor area would be like that, but you actually could feel it, guys.
The other thing that was odd was each girl that we spoke with, we had a man that came through. I don't know if it was the same man, but it was almost as if someone didn't want us to talk to them, and that kind of happened 3 times on all 3.
Yeah, so you guys listen to it, see if it sounds like the same man to you.
Yeah, listen back to the Spirit Box sessions and the clips and let me know what you think you heard or didn't hear. Also, if you guys can let us know if there's any cases you would like us to do, please let us know in the comments.
Local cases.
Yeah, local cases. I mean, we can do the background on others, but of course we can't go out on location to visit. So, yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, we might have a few ghost hunts coming up too, guys.
Yep, we're going to try to do that with you guys. We're going to take you ghost hunting through Maplecroft and ghost hunting through 2nd Street as well.
Yeah.
So make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss anything. Share if you can, that'd be amazing. And we'll see you guys next time.
Enjoy it, guys.
Bye. Rest in peace, girls. I hope we gave you a voice.